What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, the best predictor on YouTube is turning into once again the best matchmaker on YouTube, and I will be matchmaking every single fighter, notable fighter, after UFC 317. If you came here for Vyacheslav Borshev GFL matchmaking, you're in the wrong place. If you came here for Viviane Araujo's next fight, I'm sorry, you're not going to get that here. So if you want to click off the video now because you're disappointed with that, I understand. But basically every winner on the card we will obviously be matchmaking, except for one guy who just annoyed me. So he won't be getting match made. But anyway, Ilia Topuria, up todo. Connor's tweet was the funniest shit. I read that out in Connor's voice. Like, why do I feel like he's actually not on drugs tweeting that? Normally you look at every Connor tweet and be like, yeah, he's off his fucking head. But this one Connor tweet, I was like, he might be sober. Obviously, Pantoja won, Josh Van won, Benny Dariush Unk back at it again. You know, Obama fucking killed a Norwegian man. And the card was sick overall. Best card of the year so far, in my opinion, for sure. And yeah, matchmaking, obviously the two title fight winners, the matchups is pretty clear. The main event, some people might dispute it a little bit, but I think it's pretty clear what they're probably gonna do next, even if it shouldn't happen. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started, and we're going to talk about the main event first. So, main event, I think we know it's just going to be Paddy Ilia, even if it shouldn't happen. But again, I'm actually not that mad at it. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, yes, Arman deserves it more. They're not going to do it. It's just like, okay, because to me, they're not going to do Arman. Dana just said, like, Gaethje, if you want, like, sorry, I'm not changing this quote. I don't know how to fucking speak English. I'm not changing this quote from Dana White. Someone asked him, what do you think about, Dana question, why do you think about Justin Gaethje saying that he's going to retire if he doesn't get a title shot? And then he's like, what's the question? Gaethje? Title shot? Retire? Yeah. Yeah, you know what I think about kids that, you know what I think about guys that are talking about retirement. I think if once you're talking about retirement, you should probably just fucking retire. And to ask for a title shot, otherwise he's gonna. I think that's a bit fucking wacky, to be honest. That's literally what Dana White said. He called it wacky to ask for a title shot, or else you're retiring. So he's not giving Gaethje a shot. Ali can fucking be as much of a spastic as he wants. Gaethje's won one fight. Arman weighed in as a backup. Dana White literally said, quote, like word for word, that wasn't to guarantee himself as the next title challenger. That was literally just to prove to us that he's reliable enough to even show up and weigh in. Because, like, they don't want to put Arman in a spot where they're booking him for a big fight in a main event or a feature fight of a card that makes a pay-per-view stacked. Like, let's just think if Arman's on 318, for instance. Like, say Arman versus Gaethje is on UFC 318. That card is incredible. If that is a co-main event for UFC 318... no complaints about that card at all. That's a fucking tremendous card, right? And none of us would be complaining about 318 because that would be a good co-main event. But if Arman then fucking misses weight or pulls out or gets injured or something, and then we're left with the current card, it would be a fucking disaster because the current card sucks. But they're just running with that as a pay-per-view with Michael Johnson on the main card of a pay-per-view and Patricio Pitbull in the co-main event. So 318 is dismal. But this is my point. You can't put Arman in a big spotlight if you don't know he can make it. So this is their thing. You test it once with a weigh-in. No threat, no real consequences, whatever. If he fucking misses weight, then you get proof that he's unreliable, and then you just never put him in a fucking title shot. If he makes weight, you can be like, alright, cool, now we book your number one contender fight. Because you don't want to book the number one contender fight with the threat that he might pull out already. Or he might not make it to the fight. So this is what's going to happen. It's going to be Ilia Paddy. It's going to probably be in, like, MSG, maybe the December pay-per-view. I don't think Ilia gets back earlier than November. Like, Ilia's not a guy who's turning around on short notice. He's going to take his time off. He's going to go to his victory parades in Spain and Georgia and all that. He's going to go be a star. And also, the UFC, this isn't a fight that they're like, oh, we got to get this together quickly. It's like this isn't like a Strickland Izzy, where it was just circumstantial, they have to just book a fight to make up a card. They're not going to be like scrambling and be like, oh yeah, let's chuck it on this card. No, if they're gonna do this, they're gonna put it on a massive card. It'll be either Vegas, it'll be MSG, or it'll be maybe Abu Dhabi. It should be Spain, but Dana White literally just said, Spain? Spain's not even a fucking option right now. Like, Dana just completely dismissed the idea of Spain within the near future, which is crazy because they were talking about it like so much after Ilya beat Volk. They were talking about Spain, and we all knew they weren't going to go to Spain that year. But it's like, alright, 2025, we're going to Spain. Fucking, I guess not. Like, they just can't do it. So, I refuse to believe that there is 0 fucking days of the year on a Saturday that there isn't an arena or a stadium in Spain empty. I refuse to believe every fucking Saturday from January until December there is not a Spanish stadium or arena that is available to be used. Like, I'm calling bullshit on that. But regardless, ideal location Spain. It'll probably be more likely Vegas or MSG. Worst case scenario, it's like Abu Dhabi or some shit, and they put Pereira out. I could see them putting Pereira Ankalaev on 320, and then putting like Weili Shevchenko on that card as well or something. And then I could see them fucking doing some Paddy vs. Ilya Abu Dhabi bullshit. Because the Abu Dhabis just get all the big fights that none of their guys are actually from. Because there's not a single Abu Dhabian fighter or fighter from the Middle East that's good in the UFC. Like, there's like none. Amir Al-Bazi is the closest region you've got to someone who's good from the Middle East. Because Dagestan is not the Middle East. But regardless, yeah, I'd say most likely it'll probably be that December Vegas pay-per-view at the end of the year. I could also see this being like the January card and being the UFC's first. Let me know if I'm wrong. I could so see this being the first card, the first pay-per-view on the UFC's new broadcast deal. Because there were some retards that were acting like, Jones is going to fight Aspinall, bro. The UFC's just delaying it for the start of the new broadcast deal. Obviously retarded. The fight has been talked about for a year and a half before the UFC was even in negotiations with anyone. Well, they probably were, but like before it even was being talked about. And I could very much see, let's think about this logically. October should be like Aspinall Gane. That's what it should be, the Vegas card. Aspinall Gane or / Aspinall anyone. It'll probably be Aspinall Gane main and then some women's title fight co-main. Abu Dhabi should be Pereira Ankalaev, or it probably will be Pereira Ankalaev. MSG is going to be JDM Islam. I'm very fucking convinced about that. MSG should be JDM Islam with like a Josh Van Pantoja co-main. Or I could see Van Pantoja being... And then December... So I will say, actually, no. It'll probably be something like... it'll probably be, MSG will be Islam, JDM, and then like co-main Marab Santag. And that's what it's going to be, 100%. I'm very convinced about this now. Yeah, Islam, JDM main, Marab Sandhagen co-main, and then December. I could see them just headlining... I think December will be Volkanovski versus Movzar, Pico, Gene Silva, one of those three, with a co-main of Van versus Pantoja. I think that'll end up being the schedule, I would say. Something along those lines, those will be the fights, and then I think, because timeline-wise, unless Volk doesn't fight this year, and then maybe they would just main event Van, Pantoja, which I wouldn't mind. And I could also see them pulling some... But also Nunes Harrison can't happen this year because Nunes is still in the pool. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I could very much see this being the main event of the first card on their new broadcast deal on Netflix or whatever, wherever they're going. I'm not keeping up to date with the broadcast shit with all those negotiations. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's move on. I'm not trying to see Charles Oliveira fight this year. That's what I'm saying, and I'm assuming Max Holloway is going to probably go to war with Dustin Poirier and take a fair bit of damage. These two are going to be on similar schedules. Holloway's not a guy who's fighting every 4 months anyway. Just book this fight like February or some shit, March next year. Like, genuinely, I don't want to see Charles back for 6 months, minimum. Minimum 6 months. He just got flatline KO'd. I'm not trying to see him get chinned again by a fucking jab in his next fight. Like, I'm not trying to have this dude fight fucking Rafael Fiziev and get slept. Because that'll just be devastating. Like, I'm not trying to see this dude fight Dan Hooker and get fluke KO'd. Like, it's end of June right now. July, August, September, October, November, December. 6 months would be end of December. Do not fight this year. I don't want to see Oliveira back this year. I love Oliveira. I'm not saying I don't want to see him fight. I'm saying I don't want to see him fight now after just getting slept. So, no fight for Oliveira in 2025. For the rest of 2025. And then Poirier, so Holloway will be probably on a similar turnaround. I don't think Holloway's fighting in December, because even if Holloway wins, he ain't getting a title shot. Ilya is the champ, he just KO'd him. And who's he going to fight? Like, you're not doing the Gaethje fight again. I don't think there's much demand for Holloway Arman, unless they want to do like a Holloway Dan Hooker, which I doubt. That just doesn't feel like something they would like should or would do. I mean, it'd be fun, but like December, it just doesn't feel like something that would happen. So I'm thinking timeline wise, we do Oliveira Holloway on one of the earlier cards next year. You probably don't want to do it on the same Ilya card, because then you're just running promo. Then your promo of the card is literally just both of these dudes getting slumped in their last fight, by Ilya, which would then just be like, oh, it's just Ilya's sons fighting, which would obviously be memed, but it wouldn't be the best promotion. So I'm saying you do this like a month after. You could do it before if you do it Ilya, but like the February pay-per-view is usually like an Australia or something else, like a random America fight. It's not really like a cornerstone event. January is not normally massive, but if January is the debut of the streaming deal, I could see them doing that. Because normally it's like January's solid, February's mid. February a few years ago was Ilya Poirier, to be fair, but February a lot of the time is like an Australia sort of other country / weird American location. March is always Vegas. April's always Miami. May is always some bullshit like Canada or Brazil. June, they seem to be doing this Newark at the start of June and then Vegas for International Fight Week. So timeline wise, unless it'll either be the first, Ilya will either be the first card for the new broadcast deal, which will be January, or it'll just be Vegas in like March, because they're not going to put Ilya in fucking like, I don't know, Chicago or some shit. They're not going to put Ilya in Sacramento or something against Paddy Pimblett. That's not going to happen. So we'll see. But I wouldn't mind this on like first or second card of the year. Add a bit of hype to one of the weaker cards. And you already know they're going to run this shit for the BMF belt, despite both of these dudes getting slumped by Ilya, just to add something to a card. Am I wrong? Anyway, let's move on. Joshua Van Pantoja. Hey, this is going to happen. Let me tell about this kid, Joshua Van. Now, when's this fight going to happen? Because they've fought again. I'm not trying to see Van and Pantoja take 6 months off. But also, if I'm trying to be like as interested in the fight as possible, which I know I'm already hyped as fuck. Like, I made a take. This is top 3 most exciting title fights for me since 2023. Because I did some counting, I did some autism research, where you find random stats and shit. And there has been, from the start of 2023 till now, there has been 49 undisputed title fights. And then, so obviously technically I'm not counting either of Aspinall's and I'm not counting Yair. But I don't think any other interim fights. So undisputed, just to keep it simple, there's been 49. So that's not including BMFs, not including interims. Hamzat vs. Dricus is going to be the 50th undisputed title fight since the start of 2023, which is actually kind of cool. Like, that's like 2 and a bit years and they've done 50. Like, I know that's not crazy, but like, it seems we're getting a decent like amount of two title fights per pay-per-view. So I said Hamzat Dricus is number 50. Name your top 5, and I want you guys to all do this in the comments, including Hamzat Dricus, because that's around 50. Name your top 5 most hyped title fights from the start of 2023 until now. And that starts, for reference, at UFC 283, which was Jamal Hill, Glover Teixeira. And then it was 284, which was Volkanovski, Islam. It was 285, so on and so on. Let me know your top 5 most anticipated title fights in the comments. For me, Van Pantoja, whenever that happens, is going to be top 5. From the start of 2023 till the end of 2025, that's my like top 5 for me. It's like all of Volk's fights, probably a little bit ahead of it, just because it's Volk. But maybe not Volk Lopez, to be fair. And Volk actually, no. I was more excited for Volk Islam 1. I wasn't more excited for Volk Islam 2, because I was just terrified he was going to get KO'd, which happened. I was not that excited. I was excited, but I wasn't like unbelievably hyped up for Yair. And I wasn't like unbelievably hyped for Lopez. This is, to me, like, it's like Ilya Max. I'm more excited for Van Pantoja than I was for Ilya Charles. Because, again, it's interesting, and I feel like I knew what was going to happen with most of Ilya's fights. So, to me, this is, like, one of the most exciting title fights that's happened, that's going to happen in recent UFC history. I'm so hyped for this shit. It'll probably be, I don't think this is like an MSG. So I think they could go real short notice, or not real short notice, but keep up the short notice and do it on the October co-main event on that Vegas card. I think it's more likely we see a bit of a layoff for both guys. We let them both chill. We let this title fight simmer a little bit. Van gets some more training in to actually make sure that takedown defense is really solidified up, because his takedown defense has looked good. But you're gonna need fucking 2-3 months Dagestan and forget if you're gonna be dealing with Pantoja's grappling. So let me think again. July, August, September, October. Start of October would be like just over 3 months. So that's kind of tough, I think. That's probably a bit of an ask. Van just took a lot of damage. You don't want to rush him into a title fight with not the best circumstances. So I'm okay with this just being December. I'm okay with this main event in December with a like women's title co-main. I'd be okay with it. Or some other, like, just a big fight, non-title fight co-main. I'd be okay with Van Pantoja main eventing a pay-per-view. The scheduling's weird. It probably won't main event a pay-per-view. They'll probably do, as I said, Volk in a main event and then Pantoja in a co-main. They've done it before with 290. But overall, I'm so hyped for this fight. I've kind of made up my mind. I'm gonna pick Pantoja when it happens. People, like, initially I was like, fuck, I might pick Van. I'm gonna pick Pantoja. I think just right now his grappling's too good. He hasn't showed signs of being washed yet. He hasn't looked worse. There hasn't even been like a steady decline. There hasn't even been like a plateau of like, oh, he's clearly not improving anymore, and now we can expect a decline somewhere. Like he's still going up. Like I can't act like he's looked better against Kai Sakura and Kai Kara France. Maybe he just hates people named Kai. He's looked better in these two fights than he has against Roval, and he has against Moreno, and he has against Dursek. Maybe that's like, okay, the level of opposition's not as good. To me, that's just, he's getting better. Asakura is dangerous, and Kai Kara France is a guy with good takedown defense and good anti-grappling, and he just ran him over. I just think Van, again, striking-wise, Van's got it covered easily. This is not like me worrying about Van getting chinned on the feet or anything, but he could, because, again, Pantoja gets that grappling going, and then you're like, shit, I'm supposed to have good takedown defense. Now he's just taking me down however he wants. I need to watch out. Now you're tentative on the feet, and then that's when Pantoja starts outstriking a guy like Kai Kara France. Again, I think Van's obviously a better striker than Kai. I don't think Van's got crazy power. He does have pop. He did drop Roval, but that was kind of like that. That was an accumulation of damage. He's got power for sure. I don't think he's knocking out Roval. I don't think he's knocking out Pantoja, and I just think Pantoja's too strong and too physical. This is Van's first 5-rounder as well. I'm not saying the cardio is an issue. I think just all signs point to this being like a great job for getting to the title fight. Not your time just yet. A little bit too early. Take a year or two. Take 2 years once this guy's retired. You got it, bro. That's you. This is like a Till Woodley if Till was actually really good and got back to the belt afterwards instead of just dipping and going to middleweight. This is that young guy, young prospect, gets that title shot real early in their career. Does it, comes up short, just not quite experienced enough at the time, but they rebound. Because a lot of the time you see the guy just, fall apart and they crumble and they do shit. This is hey, you made it, you got back to the spot, and I think Van beats everyone else in this division except Pantoja. I think Van beats Roval, I think he beats Moreno, I think he beats Kai, I think he beats Cap, I think he beats fucking Urseg, I think he beats all these guys. Except for Pantoja, that grappling's just too good in my opinion, right now. 2 years from now, if Pantoja's still champ and he's fucking 38 almost, yeah, I'm probably picking Van. But 35 right now, hasn't been showing a decline, signs of any decline. I got Pantoja. Anyway, let's move on. I'm skimming through the rest of this shit. Alright, I want to see Kai Kara France, aka James Kara France. In case you didn't know, this dude is 10% Maori and made it his entire personality this fight week. Swear to God, I haven't seen this dude talk about being Maori any time before this fight. He does his little dumb face a few times, but apart from that, I swear to God, this dude has just quadrupled his percentage of Maori ancestry in this fight week somehow. But I want to see him versus Manel Cap. I know there's some people saying rebook Roval Cap. I don't want to see Cap get that, because I think right now, even though Kai is still top 5, I believe, in the rankings, it feels like like, Cap would be like, oh, you're now, if Cap gets Roval, it's like, oh, you're number 2, then you get a title shot. I personally want to see Cap fight 2 more times. Again, you can't just keep pulling out of fights, and you can't keep just having cancellations and just be like, oh yeah, all good. Just whenever you want to get back in there and get a win, buddy, you got it. Like, no. You got to do work. And so, beat Kai. We got a rivalry here. We missed out on this shit at the press conference. There's a fight night taking place in Australia, in Perth. It's gonna be September, the last week of September, most likely. And in Perth, like 27th, I believe, of September. Kai didn't take heaps of damage. And what would that be? July, so it'd be August. So July, August, September. It'd be 3 months from today. I think that's reasonable. I don't think he took crazy damage. What was Cap's injury? So maybe I'm bugging and Cap's got like a bad injury. I don't know. If Cap's got like a broken bone or some shit, okay, maybe I'm being unrealistic. But regardless of location or whatever, still, this is the fight for sure. There's beef here. And again, I don't want to reward. I was gonna say like the winner of like Temirov Elmabayev, except he beat Elmabayev. So I was gonna say like the winner of like Urseg Perez, and so like you actually have to fight back. But the Kai fight's too good for me to step down, and also I don't want to just do endless rematches. So I don't want to do Kai Roval again, and that would feel like you're just letting Kai fight another top 5 guy. That's the thing I hate. Is guys losing title shots, especially undeserved ones, and then still getting like another top 5 fight after that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I want to see this fight though. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, I want to see Roval move to Bantamweight and fight Rob Font. Just because why the fuck not, yeah? Like, again, who the fuck is Roval going to fight? There's going to be some people saying rebook the Cap fight. Again, I don't want to reward Cap. And also, it just feels kind of dumb to have Roval. Like, Roval said if he didn't get a title shot after this, if he won, he was just going to move up. Because I imagine the weight cut's probably, like, a bit tough for him. He's a tall, big guy. Move up to bantamweight, bro. Have some fun. Like, what's he obviously going to do? He's not going to have a trilogy with Moreno. I don't care about him versus El Bazi. He's already fought Tyra. Him versus Perez doesn't do much for me. I guess are we going to just give Urseg unlimited top 5 opponents glitch as well, and he beats Perez and then he gets number 2 or whatever? Like, nah, I'm good with that. So I know it seems kind of weird as like the number 2 guy to move up and abandon your division, and just stop being a contender there. It doesn't have to be permanent. Like, if you lose to Font, just come back down and fucking fight. But like in the meantime, yeah, he took some damage, so he'll probably be out for a minute. There's so many flyweight fights booked. I wouldn't mind like him versus like an Asakura, but it would feel weird given Asakura's already lost the title fight to Pantoja to like give him a massive jump up. So like either you're gonna just wait for the winner of a fight or something, like but like again, Tyra, no, I'm not trying to see this dude fight El Bazi, and unless it's the Cap fight, which I want to see Cap versus Kai, I'm not that hyped for Roval vs Elmabayev or Roval vs Perez or Roval vs Urseg. So, move up, fight Rob Font. Apparently, Rob Font, I don't know if he turned it down or if it didn't come to fruition, but the rumours of Roval vs Song Yadong have been denied, they've been said as false. That fight is not happening, apparently. I assume they're going to just do Song Yadong vs Umar on the Abu Dhabi card or whatever, just push that back, and then I assume Font's going to fight whoever. Like, who the fuck's Font going to fight? He fought Cheeto already. Not going to do him versus Bautista. You're not going to do him versus Cejudo, I don't think. Like Zahabi, Phillips. I don't know. I'd rather like a fun fight with Roval. And it's just one of those things on a card where you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's not super hype, but you're like, that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Next up, sorry, Benny. Sorry, Unk. This matchmaking thing, it's partially me matchmaking what I want to see. It's also matchmaking what's going to fucking happen. And I could so see them doing Benny versus Fiziev. Because, like, Benny got the win, so you're not going to just feed him to some, like, unranked guy. Like, I think he's survived the Mauricio Rufy treatment. But, like, I'm not trying to see him rematch Gamrot. I don't really care about a Benny Dan Hooker fight. Fiziev Dan Hooker would be cool. I think they're more likely to just tell Gaethje, oi, get in line, bitch, you're fighting Dan Hooker again. Not again, or you're fighting Dan Hooker, we're rebooking that. And just say, oi, earn your fucking title shot, bitch, because Fiziev Dan Hooker would be cool, but also Fiziev's coming off 3 losses. Do you give him the number 6 guy? These guys are 9 and 10 in the rankings. It makes sense. I don't think like, you could do one of them versus, like, a Chandler or a Dawson. Like, I don't think they're going to do Dariush versus Grant Dawson. They might, but this feels like, yeah, Fiziev's got some momentum back. Benny, we don't particularly care for you. You can go and lose this fight. Anyway, let's move on. Renato Moicano, that was a disgraceful performance. I don't care if it's literally a 2-month turnaround. Fight for SCM in Paris, bro. Like, that was disgraceful. You don't deserve a favour. What would this be? It would literally be... This would be, hang on, July, August. This would be like 2 months and like a week. That's fine. That's fine. That's like 9 weeks. 9 weeks is good. He can't be that injured. Benil didn't really do much. He just kicked him a bunch and then took him down. Surely you're not that injured, Moik. Unless you actually had an injury going in or you injured something during the fight. I don't give a fuck, dude. Rematch France. I don't care if you won the first one. I don't care if you said you never want to go back there. Too bad, buddy. You lost that fight. You lost to fucking 38-year-old Benil Dariush. I know he's not 38, but like, you lost to Unk Benny. You ain't getting any favours, kid. Like, you can fucking go back of the line. I would have said like a roofie. I wouldn't mind a roofie versus Moicano. Or a Moicano versus like... Oh, but again, like, do you do like a Bahamondes fight? Do you do he trains with Dawson, so I don't know if they're going to do that. Again, I kind of steer away from all these ATT fights just because I'm like, oh, I assume they're friends. But honestly, I'm going to start saying fuck ATT. You guys can just fight each other. Your gym takes up half the division. So, yeah, Moicano, you can go back to France and fucking fight Ziam, kid. Good luck. Anyway, Ziam whoops Moicano, by the way. Just letting you know. Anyway, let's move on. Alright, we're getting through the rest of these fights before the 30-minute mark. We got 3 minutes 22. Talbot versus Yanez. I don't need to talk about this shit. He called him out. Yanez isn't booked. Noche /320. Talbot's got some hype back. That'll be cool, I guess. Anyway, next up, Gregory Rodriguez versus Joe Pyfer. Officer Joe calls himself the hardest hitting fucking fighter alive. Calls himself the hardest hitting man to ever exist. You lost a 5-round decision to Jack Hermansson. Jack Hermansson just got murdered in the octagon by Robocop. So I think we know who hits harder. If you want to prove us otherwise, you go take him on in the cage. This is the Josh Emmett versus Jeremy Stevens of middleweight, bro. Am I wrong? That's actually a fucking elite comparison. This is the Heathen Stevens versus fucking Big Meaty Hooks. This is a Big Meaty Hooks prime matchup here. Lucas Tracy would just be saying Big Meaty Hooks. Big Meaty. The whole fucking fight, dude. That's the theme song for this matchup. Anyway, I'll see an edit on Instagram Reels of this fight, which is the Big Meaty Hooks song. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, sorry, Unk. Yeah, I feel bad. I know you guys now think you guys are trying to put me on a watch list for fucking for attempted murder of a man I've never met. But no, I'm sorry, Hermansson. This is how the business goes, buddy. You're getting the tip of Gautier and his. But watch Hermansson low key like just eat Gautier's shots and just like piece him up. I could see it. Anyway, let's move on. This is like the most on paper, technically you're getting a ranked opponent, but no one's going to complain and be like, bro, he's had 2 fights in the UFC, why is he getting a ranked opponent? No one's going to care, because it's David Onama and he shouldn't be ranked. They gave him Giga Chikadze on a random fucking Kansas City Fight Night card, and he won a 29-28 decision. No one considers this guy to be like a ranked fighter. So Delgado can sleep him, get Onama up out of here, and we will be top 10 after beating fucking David Negro Onama. Shit, am I allowed to say that? Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Goon fights. Enough said, the camera angles would be tremendous. These two never fight. When they do, it's all about the camera angles. Next up, though, Terrence McKinney versus Thiago Moises. Moises just got chinned by Jared Gordon. A year ago, you tell me this fight's booked. I'm picking Moises by submission, or Moises by late finish. Right now, I'm honestly picking McKinney by round 1 KO. Moises is washed. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Jacoby Smith. You can get the crafty vet test of Azulay Zaleski dos Santos. Low-key, he probably loses this fight, I can't lie. I don't know why Bedtime's still glazing this dude. Acts like he put on a masterclass against Nico fucking Price. He looked gassed and was getting tagged up on the feet. This kid's mid. I maintain he's just a black Bo Nickel. This was his Cody Brundage fight of just expected to win and he drags it to a 2nd round submission. This dude's mid. Zaleski fraud checks him. Anyway, let's move on. Now, for a rare change of pace, we'll be matchmaking the loser, not the winner, because Janata Denise sold my multi. Same with Jacoby Smith, to be fair, but how do you not put this on a fucking pay-per-view main card, kid. This is badass. This fight's gonna happen, and it's gonna be on a main card of a fight night / pay-per-view. Anyway, that'll do it, guys. Let me know in the comments what fights do you guys want to see. Like and subscribe. Follow my Instagram and Twitter, Leftline MMA. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.